Greetings, Instagram, on this late Friday night in the central part of the United States. It's 11 p.m. where I am. Where is it? What time is it where you are? Thanks for joining me tonight on this late night live. This is Instagram sessions number 4 for the MattyRocks experience. And I'm joined with a very special guest tonight, and I'm going to wait for him to join and request. So we'll wait for him here. Thank you all for tuning in. It's late Friday night. Please stand by. Early Saturday morning. Thank you, World of Mud, for joining another live so early in the morning where you are. Thanks, Diggy Cat. Lucky Star Radio. Thank you, Joy. Got a pretty good interview tonight with an artist you all may know, some you may not. But nonetheless, another great informational interview coming your way. The MattyRocks Experience live Instagram sessions number 4. All right, still waiting on my guest. Just came out of hair and makeup. I get all dolled up for these Friday nights. Cheers, whatever you're drinking. Sorry to keep you all waiting. This gentleman on my shoulder here, that's who I'm going to be interviewing, Mr. Cello Dias. And I think I see him. And there he is. Wow. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
I'm good. Good to have you on a late night MattyRocks experience interview. You are no stranger to a MattyRocks interview. You know that. Right on. Right on. So let me start off, Cello, asking how are things going where you're at? How are you doing health-wise? Everything good?
Everything is good. New times, I guess. We're in a new world. Trying to get used to it, I guess. Not complaining too much, just adapting to it and not trying to listen to the noise out there. There's just too many people saying too many things.
Yeah, isn't it? Don't you find in this time it's getting more confusing as we go on?
Absolutely, man. I mean, every other person that I talk to say completely opposite. So I'm like, right on.
Right.
I'm just trying to stay out of it. I'm following basically the city rules, staying home as much as I can, and I'm just basically entertaining myself with music, and that's pretty much it.
Well, that was my next lead-in question. So what are you working on right now to keep you busy, to keep you fluid and current?
I did probably, we already covered some of that in our previous interviews. I've done a bunch of things after Soulfly, but most recently I'm working on my own material. So I'm just trying to kind of like give a shot to myself
Right.
You know, instead of helping everyone else. I've done a lot of that already, and it was fun for the time. But I think now my head and the time I'm at right now, I feel like might as well put, you know, my stuff out there rather than, you know, work with other people's stuff. So it's really kind of exciting to, you know, push yourself to limits I never thought about doing it before.
Right. What are some of the things that you're doing while you're working on stuff that maybe some things that you've supported other musicians?
Well,
advice that you've given to them or helped them out with a song, or, you know, any advice or any help you've given to musicians out there during this time that
I think the time is now to really do your thing, because, I mean, take this time that, you know, for better, for worse, you know, a lot of people are having a lot of time available. You know,
Absolutely.
not being able to work or not being able to go out too much. You have this extremely, you know, a big amount of time available. And instead of getting bored and complain, maybe put that to some work. You know, I would say just do whatever you're good at it, you know, paint, write books, you know, podcast, write songs, you know, just do whatever you feel like doing it, and you never had a chance to do it before when you're very, you know, very busy.
Right.
Now is the time. You can't complain about not having time to do it.
No, you got all the time on your hands.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Well, it's good to see you again. The last time we saw each other was, 2 years ago at NAMM?
Yeah, man.
Where we talked about the One Side Zero, and I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit later in the interview. But something we've never done before, we've never had a really in-depth MattyRocks interview that goes back into your, you know, the way early years of your life. So if you would, Cello, take MattyRocks listeners and all the viewers tonight and your fans and followers back to the early years of your life in Sao Paulo, Brazil. And give us some insight to how music and bass playing came in your life.
Wow, it's been a minute, you know. I would say it's been quite of a journey. Started, back in São Paulo days. I was, you know, growing up as everyone else, just a kid. Started getting into rock in the middle 80s. And what changed my life was really meeting the guys from Sepultura, you know, early on, when they were also, you know, we were all kids at those days, man. We were like literally 16, 17, 18, you know. And they came to play in my town in São Paulo. They were originally from Belo Horizonte, which is you know, a different city. And we kind of connected right there and then. And started kind of hanging out with these guys more, you know, after they came to Brazil or to Sao Paulo, and spend, you know, I would say 2-3 weeks in our town after their show. It's supposed to be just a one-off show, and it turned out to be like a 2-week or 3-week, I can't remember. They stayed in a friend of mine's house, and from that point on, we kind of agreed to kind of work, you know, together. I started working for them as just a roadie crew, and I did that for a few years, and then I kind of ended up doing lights with them. And I always had the music going parallel. You know, I had my band, they had their band, I played some music apart, you know, parallel. And then as they were getting busier and busier, I ended up putting some of my projects, you know, on the sidelines for the time being, because they really kept me busy for many years. You know, combined Sepultura and Soulfly, actually, it was like about 10 years touring the world with the Sepultura, and then another 6 years, with 6-7 years with Soulfly. So just a lot of touring at that point, you know, being everywhere, met everyone.
So really meeting Sepultura was, I mean, a great time for you, because that really opened the door for you musically.
Yeah, it was the changing point in my life. You know, it was just, had no idea what it was gonna go. You know, it was just a cool band at the time. They were playing death metal. You know, their first EP at the time, 4 songs. There was vinyl, split up vinyl with another Brazilian band. And it was all on a trial basis. No one knew where it could go. And, you know, we all kind of embrace ourselves and, you know, help each other out. And, you know, at that time, I actually had Igor, the drummer, to be the tech of my band. So when I was playing shows, he was coming, you know, to come and help out or hang out. And then when they were playing, I was going to their shows. And obviously, they were doing more shows than my band was at the time. And it was something that kind of became more, you know, solid. And then, you know, when they signed with Roadrunner, late 80s or early 90s, I can't remember when it was. Maybe it was 1990 or something. And that's when they really just took a whole new level. Started doing, like, you know, tours out of Brazil. Because at that point, until late 80s, it was all Brazil shows. It was like single shows here and there. We're doing all Greyhound style, just gear on the, you know, on the bay of the bus, and, you know, and just going everywhere. You know, we were excited, you know, because we were just going out there and had no idea where to go. Meet people at the bus station, and they pick us up and take us to the venue, do shows, and then bring us back and go home. Wait another weekend to do all over again.
Right on.
We got signed with Roadrunner, and then we got our first, you know, U.S. and Europe itinerary. We were like so happy. It was like, whoa, the best thing ever, you know. And then from that point on, it was just one after the other. Because the band really took off at that point. And
was that was Soulfly, right?
No, that was Sepultura.
That was Sepultura. Okay.
Sepultura was from the late 80s to, I would say, they broke up, or the single quit in 1996, I want to say, the end of 1996.
Right.
And then we put a Soulfly together like a year later, end of 97.
Right on. Good times. Good story there. Let's take a step back to your earlier work. We're going to go back as far as The Mist, the Brazilian metal band. How did that project come together and take shape for you?
Well, when I went to work with Sepultura full time, like I said, I was living in São Paulo, and they lived in a city called Belo Horizonte. It was like a distance equivalent to LA to San Francisco. So it was kind of far for us to keep connections, especially in those days. We had no cell phones, no internet. It was like really the old days. So I ended up moving to Belo Horizonte with a couple of friends. We rented a 3-bedroom apartment out there, and I lived there for several years, like I would say 6-7 years. And that time when Sepultura wasn't as busy, I was a musician as well, so I was like, I want to play, you know. So at that time, that city was really boiling with music. Mm-hmm. It was the first Brazilian label. It was born there, called Cogumelo Records. And that was the label that literally put every band into the world map. You know, Sepultura being the first one, and then a lot of bands follow up. The Mist was one of those. And how that came about was, you know, me just kind of being bored, waiting for more Sepultura shows to come, and talking to friends. It was a lot of people. It was a huge community at that point, a lot of metalheads. It was really cool. And I teamed up with a couple of guys, local guys from Belo Horizonte, and they had a band, and, you know, I had an idea how to do a band, so I kind of broke up their band, and we created The Mist. And that was kind of my, let out, my outlet. So I put that together, and we wrote, good enough songs at that time where the label that signed Sepultura, Cogumelo Records, they got interested. They signed us up, and I ended up putting 3 records with that band as well. It was like 87, 89, or something like that, 87, 89, or 90, 91, something like that. It was like a couple of years.
Right on. It's always great to hear the story of how band names come together.
Yes.
How did you come up with The Mist? Where did that come from?
The Mist, well, it's really that, crunching moment of, brain-wrenching, I call it, because it's just like, we need a name, right? We need a name. And that band, or the guys that I was playing with, that I started playing with, that morphed into the Mist, they used to call Mayhem. So we liked the name Mayhem, but the problem with that name was there was another band from, I want to say Sweden or somewhere in Europe, they already called Mayhem, and they were kind of popular at that time in the middle 80s, late 80s. So we needed to, like I said, now we don't want it to, become a parody or another, stay on a band's name. So let's try to figure out our own name. And after going through, all the four members at that time, going through, dictionaries, whatnot, trying to find names, the drummer, I think, was the one that created the name, that come up with the Mist. And at that time, we didn't really know what it meant. It just kind of it sounds like the fog, and it was this, it was like kind of obscure. That's what we kind of were trying to do at the time. So it just kind of oh, that sounds cool, and let's just use it. There's no one using that kind of name right now, so we made sure that no one had it, and then basically that's how it came about. Just trying to find something that would kind of goes with what we want. We're trying to become like an obscure band, like just kind of dark and interesting, something different that Sepultura was doing at the time.
Right on.
And it kind of did it pretty good at the time. It became quite popular in Brazil.
What would you say was your most memorable moment of that time with that group?
Oh man, so many. I mean, I still love those guys. And as a matter of fact, it just kind of came together just about a year ago. They reunited, and that kind of came about a visit that I did in Brazil. I went to visit, because I go to Brazil visit my family every couple of years from LA. And then this last time I was there, actually it's been a couple or 2 or 3 years. The last time I went to Brazil, I not only went to São Paulo, but I went to Belo Horizonte to see this guy. So I spent like a week with everybody. We hang out, catch up, I haven't seen them for a decade or more, before. And so we kind of catched up, and just really, it was a really good time to see everyone, the whole lineup, the original lineup. And we took some pictures, and I think that kind of sparked, there's a lot of local guys that was like, when they saw our pictures, we posted on our profiles at that time. It's been at least a year or more now. Everybody got excited in São Paulo, Belo Horizonte, all over Brazil, and some other places, because I came to find that there's a lot of fans, the Mist fans in Europe and even US. I was not aware of this. I thought it was like a dead project, but somehow a lot of people's following that. But that's how kind of got the spark, to start the whole, the whole band again. And the singer called me up just a few months ago and say, hey man, we were thinking about getting back together and all that. Obviously I'm out of the loop, I've been in LA. I'm like, I don't think I can travel to Brazil to do that. And they just got another bass player to do it. But it's basically all the guys and a newer guy. He looks like me 30 years ago when I used to have long, curly hair. So It's kind of funny. I was like, you guys all look like today's age, 40s, 50s. And this guy's he's kind of like in his 20s, 30s. And so it made me look good. I'm like,
right on.
It looks like a young cello.
Right on.
But they're having a blast, and it's great shows. I've seen a lot of their videos and live footage and pictures, and they're having a blast. Makes me jealous, actually. I wish I could do some gigs with them. Maybe one day.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Good for them. How did the Mist help prepare you for your next big step with jumping into Soulfly? And we'll talk about that in a minute. But what was the one thing that Mist helped prepare you for that next big step?
I think it was just, I always have the fire, when I get my mind around something, I just run with it. And the Mist gave me the tools to write, I was the main writer on that band. And the first record, I pretty much wrote most on my own. Kind of like a Stevie Harris of Brazil, I played bass, but I wrote all the guitar parts and, the bass and the melodies. And then Vladimir, which was the singer, He's still the singer. He was doing all the vocals. And then it was just fun because I was just experimenting everything. The mix became very experimental. And it was fun, and for me at the time. But allowed me to just kind of become, a better songwriter. And, the traveling on the road and all the shit that we went through, it kind of just prepared me for, bigger and better things. So when I was doing Sepultura, I was able to, to see it from, the background area, how it is, how that world works, from
right.
the outside of the stage perspective, So I became very just experienced, with doing everything from, like I said, I started as a drum tech and then became a guitar tech and a bass tech, and then eventually I'm like, I got bored with this. I'm like, I'm gonna do something different, and then I started doing the light shows, and and I did that for the last several years. It was the first couple years that I was a tech, and then for the last 8 years until they split up, I was doing lights, and it was fun as hell to do it. But like I said, it got me very. It got me very, ready to be able to do, to jump on the next, project that I wanted to do it. I always had these parallel, projects with, Max and Igor at that time, Sepultura times. So we had like hardcore, punk rock, bands, side projects, and then eventually when the whole thing kind of came about where they split up, we were all devastated, but, probably less than a year when Max decided to regroup and put a band together, it was kind of natural, to call me to be the bass player, and just Roy as well, to the drums. So that's how Soulfly started. It was basically just me, Roy, and Max. We didn't have a guitar player for pretty much the first whole record. We did the entire record with this Brazilian guy. His name is Lucio Maia. Killer guitar player, and he's from a band called Chico Science, very famous in Brazil. They're very badass band. A lot of percussion, tribal. They have the maracatu, rhythms. Very interesting, and they helped us to put the first flavor in Soulfly. Soulfly was very, world rhythm music and metal all combined. At that time, it was kind
right.
of. Sepultura was just start tapping in that, and then they broke up, and we just took that to a whole new level, and we did quite well because that record ended up going gold, which is kind of a good achievement for a metal band. You don't hear that often, so we were proud of that. But that was it. It was basically all this work that I did in the background with Sepultura, and stuff that I did on my own with the Mist. And the side projects with Max and Igor just basically got me ready for the next step, which was Soulfly.
Right on. What would you say was one of your most memorable moments with Soulfly?
Oh man, that's like
making you think tonight, Cello.
I think the beginning was more, the more fun. It was more spontaneous. We were like, again, very exciting to just kind of get into a whole new level of things. Mac was already, he was already known from Sepultura, so it kind of opened the doors for Soulfly to really come out of the gates, like swinging it. And we had a great first record, so it just kind of became the very instant, killer band from the beginning. And, I got to meet just a lot of people, at that time. And I think one memorable thing I want to say was we went to pick up. I ended up going on the place of Max because he couldn't make it. He sent me and Logan, which was the first temporary guitar player. After we finished Soulfly first album, I ended up calling Logan to kind of start doing the live shows. So Logan met her, for Machine Head. And he kind of helped us out for like 6 months, 8 months, and then he ended up going, to do his own thing, which was mixing, producing, which is, he's killer at that. But at that time, we got invited to this award in London. I think it was Kerrang Awards, I want to say. And we were invited to participate because we got nominated the best newcomer. Mm-hmm. So at that particular award, it was the only musician, so it was not open for the public. So it was a bunch of people there. And I met pretty much everybody there. It was like the guys from Green Day, from Napalm Death, Motorhead was there. And we sit down in this round table. So it was like a dozen dinner tables or more. And we like 5, 6, 8 chairs, I can't remember. And we got to sit with Brian Johnson and Angus Young from AC/DC and their girlfriends or wives, I can't remember. Right. And me and Logan and our publicist. And to me, that was like, oh my God, this is the moment, We had like 2 hours, 3 hours just kind of chatting with these guys. And those are my idols, AC/DC, are you kidding me? Yeah. And they were like there to be nominated as a lifetime, award or something. But we just got lucky to sit down on the same table that they were. So we had a great dinner with them, and we pick up our award, newcomer. And I think I remember meeting Lemmy at that party, and he was like, I think he was pretty drunk. And when I went to meet him or shake his hand, he literally grabbed my hand and kissed it. Like, it blew my mind because he was such a rumble guy, and mm-hmm. I didn't know what to do. I was frozen, and I was like, I grabbed his hand and I kissed it back. And I'm like, I think we're pretty drunk, and we were pretty wasted, so we just kept laughing and talking, and I'll never forget those moments. It was amazing.
Well, in this day and age, Cello, there will be no kissing hands.
I know, man. It's like, what the fuck? I mean, it's Lemmy, I could not understand, but Lemmy's Lemmy. He's one of a kind.
Right. That's a great. What a great person to meet at that moment.
Oh my God.
Well, I thought I knew everything about you and all your music projects until I started to dig a little bit deeper, and okay. I come across a project that I never even knew about called A Bloom.
All right.
Tell us about this project and how it came together and took shape.
This project came after we left Soulfly. It was something that at that time, our first tour with Soulfly, things were not going well. We were kind of just tired and wanted to do something else. At least I was. But I think the other 2 guys in the band were kind of on the same page because we ended up creating A Bloom after that. So me, Mikey, and Roy, we basically left Soulfly, and pretty much the next day I was living in San Francisco at that time, and I moved to LA, and we started A Bloom pretty much right after that. And A Bloom was basically myself, Roy, and Mikey from Soulfly, and then we also had a couple of our really good friends, Jason Rafford and Lavon Sultanian. They played for a band called One Size Zero, and we had them out with us with Soulfly just like a couple of tours before, and we just kind of connected in a really, really strong level. And so it was natural to, talking after talking, we decided to let's give it a shot and let's do this.
Where did the name come from, A Bloom? I tried to figure,
A Bloom, if I remember correctly, was Mikey that picked that name up. We're all trying to find names. I think at one point it was Motra. Right before I got in, they were kind of like still morphing, and then it became A Bloom. And if I remember correctly, Mikey just kind of opened a dictionary and put a finger on it, on an A, and it turned out to be A Bloom. You're going to have to ask him that question, but I think that's what it was. And it was kind of a catchy name. We're like, cool. And we just took it because we kind of had that sort of like a Guns N' Roses vibe. It was more like a rock and roll band rather than metal. So A Bloom kind of, had a cool, name to it. It gave a cool vibe to it.
It's like you bloomed something else, a new band. You bloomed a new band.
That's basically what we did.
Right on. Talk about, you worked with System of a Down's bass player. Did he produce
yes.
the work for A Bloom?
Yeah, he was basically the executive producer.
Okay.
So he was kind of the guy behind and making sure we're, getting a place to rehearsal and taking care of any needs that we needed it, to get the music going. We ended up doing like a full-blown album. I don't think it ever got a chance to be released. But, it was like a 2-year span that we worked and we were doing shows. We actually got to do a tour. A lot of things with that. But unfortunately, it didn't get the chance to get signed up and move, to bigger and better things.
Right on. Well, we come to the next project, the project that I actually met you, and that's Against All Will. That's when I kind of came into the picture, and man, we had Jimmy on 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Really gave us the inside scoop from the way beginning of Against All Will. But I want you to talk about the early years of the project and how did you come involved with Jimmy in that project?
Jimmy, he's a fucking amazing talent, songwriter, a fucking badass guitar player. I met him through my friend Roy, Roy Mayorga, and because Roy, I think, mentioned to them about me. They were looking for a bass player. Jimmy had a band, Against All Will, he was putting together, and at that time, I don't think I was jamming with anybody, and somehow we connect. I went to meet them, and he's a badass dude, really cool guy. We connected right away, so it was really, really, really cool to get to work with him, and it's just he teach me a lot of things about writing, which I very appreciated of him. That guy is just I see it as to me he's a genius. I mean, as you can probably see, he put Puddle together and wrote one of their best songs. He knows how to do that stuff, so I'm always listening to him when he's talking about music.
I know you've known him for a while, but what has his relationship meant to you over these years? Musician to musician.
Just a guy that I look forward to, play with. I always enjoying, listen the things that he comes up with, and I like his simplicity approach to things. Where before that I was very complex and I had all these multi-parts and I used to write 12-minute long songs. And he's like, no, strip down. Less is more. And that's what I got that from. I was like, oh, okay, what do you mean by that? And then he started showing me his stuff. And then when I actually got to here, I was like, holy shit. And it really, it touched me because I love the shit that he writes. And I was like, what the fuck, And I was sort of in shock how easy it sounds, but it's not easy to do. It's just a thing that he can do. But I've been paying a lot more attention to kind of write, rock music with that type of idea, like simplicity, less is more kind of thing. And to me, that's what he does to me. It's always a blast to see him and to play with him and to listen to him. Every time we get to meet, it's I always say it's like it's a sparkling fire. It's a ball of fire that goes everywhere, and we always exchange ideas. And now I think I'm kind of giving him some ideas as well. That he's kind of like, oh, that's cool. Just do that. Keep doing it. So we always have this like little two kids just playing together and enjoying each other's. A lot of respect between us. Let's put it that way.
Right on. I mean, from what I saw back in those years, I mean, you guys had a lot of momentum. You guys were on the path. What do you think, Cello, was the missing ingredient that prevented this band's momentum from going forward?
Against All Will?
Yeah.
Well, I hate to say it, but the goddamn singers, man, they always have some fucking LSD syndrome or something. That's what we call them. Lead singer, disease or whatever the fuck. But it's just, like you said, we were solid on the pattern, to get what we needed to get. And then the singer just blew it off. He literally quit the band to live with some stripper and some fucked up shit. We were like, what the fuck happened? But I think the guy was a bit lost. He had a good voice, but he didn't have a direction. Which is kind of sad because I think if he really put effort, he could have get somewhere. But he didn't know what to do. So it was a lot of Jimmy's work behind him to get him doing what he did on the record. On the EP that I guess I will put it out. And when we were working to put the actual full album, full-length record out, when he cracked. And maybe it was just, he couldn't do it or whatever, But it was sad because, like I said, it's because of one guy, the whole band kind of took a break. And from that point, it was kind of hard to recoup from that. I decided to take a break from the business, short after that.
Right. In Jimmy's interview that we had a couple weeks ago, Jimmy had alluded, to this project was kind of still, in motion, and there were some things taking shape. Are you a part of that mold, Cello?
Oh yes. Oh yeah. I mean, we are family, man. It's something that he writes something and then he shoots me something like, hey, check this out, and I listen. I'm like, yeah, I get fired up. So he always poking me to get started because, he's living in Kansas and I'm in Los Angeles. So we're trying to kind of figure out a way where we can, have a fluid communication music-wise and, everything else in order to kind of help each other to earrings or levels, because he was very helpful to help, to get my things out of me. I saw him just about a couple of months back, 2-3 months ago. I went to visit him in his place, and I came to his place with a full hand of songs that I've been written and working on it for a few months, on and off, not consistently, but just hey man, I got this shit, what do you think? And he was listening. I'm like, that's cool, it got potential, but you gotta work harder on it, so he started pushing me to it. And I was like, all right, that's what I want. That's the Jimmy Allen that I want. And so that's kind of what we've been trying to do. He's helping to do my things. I'm helping to do his thing. And kind of Against Our Will is our thing as well. So we're kind of trying to keep all in the family,
I just wanted to hear you say it. I just wanted to hear you say it, that you're a part of that still.
Oh, hell yeah.
Right on. What do you guys think? And I'm sure you guys have talked about this, and I don't think this was even a question that I was able to ask Jimmy. But what do you think needs to be done differently this time to make sure that project continues?
I told.
Is there anything that you guys would change?
Yeah, I told him dude, we need to keep that between us. So you either start learning how to sing, or I'll learn how to sing, or we both learn how to sing. And we just control it ourselves. Because the main thing for me is to put so much hard work and effort and all this sweat, blood, and tears into something for, years, to have one fucking guy, usually singers, I hate to say it, blow it off for whatever reason, because they become, I don't know, man. And not all of them, I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them are manipulative and, they're trying to control you. And I'm like, fuck, man. I've been in bands that I was able to see when everybody's good, it can really flourish and can go far. You see the bands that succeed and keep going out there. I wanted something like that, you know what I mean? And so is Jimmy. So that's what we'll be talking about. If somebody comes in now and can sing their ass off and is a cool guy, that's got to be more important than being a talent guy. It has to have that talent, of course, but it has to have a good personality, man, because have a good talent guy and being an asshole, I'm done with that. I'm not doing it. I don't care who it is. If Axl Rose come and say, hey, man, I need to make money, I'm like, I know he's going to get paying gig. That's about it. It's not like a real band type of thing. But if it was a guy like him trying to do a band, but I feel that his personality is like a dick, I'm like, no, I'm not going to waste my time with you. Simple as that. So it has to be, you know what I mean? It has to be a family kind of thing. It has to be like, dude, we're all doing this because we love, and that's it. So if we don't find a singer, we're going to do it on our own. Like I said, I'm doing my own project, singing my project. He's doing his stuff, and he's singing on his projects. And we have Against Our Will kind of start to warming up again. So we'll see. It's a lot of music. It's going to be boiling over in 2020.
Well, I do a good harmony. Can I do a harmony on a song?
Sure, man.
Okay.
Always. You're invited. You know it.
I can't wait till I jump on a plane again. I mean, I've jumped on many planes to go see Against All Will. Okay.
There you go.
I can't wait to jump on a plane to go see another Against All Will show sometime, somewhere.
Oh, yeah. Well, once we can all get back to normal life or somewhat, normal, then I can't wait, man. I can't wait. Because I feel like this is the time to build a lot of shit.
Right
and
on.
I think we're going to have some good stuff coming up. So I can't wait to be able to go to a concert again, to a rock show and go with my friends and fucking hang out,
Yeah. So when this whole thing is done, Cello, what are two things that you're really looking forward to getting out and doing?
Two things that I look forward to get out?
Yeah, when this is all done, when this whole thing blows over, what are you looking forward to getting out there doing? Playing again?
I think I love playing music, man. I love playing music, and right now I'm being, isolated and playing on the studio. I don't mind. I like it to do this. But I like to perform live as well. So that's something that I would like to do soon, with the right people, the right chemistry, the right band. It's going to be phenomenal. We got some things on the burners, like we just mentioned. So something's going to give, something's going to give. And I think that's where I'm at. That's where I'm start putting my energy right now.
Right on. Cello, I want you to think back to throughout your entire musical career so far. And I want you to pick out one accomplishment that really resonates to you, that you're really proud of to this date.
Accomplishment. I like to play music to help people. I like to play music as not as a weapon, but more as a word of a device. I'm not trying to tell people what to do. I'm not trying to, to tell people anything, but I feel like music is a powerful tool if you use the right way. Because some people use music for the wrong purpose, and that I don't agree with it, but that's what I would like to do. I think it's something that I see myself doing in the future, is using music as a instrument of, voice, and just be able to really take that seriously and just say, the things that you meant from your heart, most importantly, and just let it out, just let yourself in and put yourself out there. It's always a judgment call. People judge you for it, but you know what? I'm in an age right now that I don't care. I just want to be, in peace with myself and do what I want to do and not worry about what people is going to say or not.
Right on. Cello, what is on the horizon for you and the rest of the projects that you're working on?
I think, we just covered that. We're talking about Against All Will. We're talking about, my own project. I'm trying to come up with a name, which is that we're brainstorming there right now. Got some ideas, but we'll see soon. I'll keep you posted as soon as we get something. But my thing, and then Jimmy got his thing as well. So between our things, I think we can do something positive, and I think that's the direction. That's what I want to do. I want to concentrate on my thing, most important than anything else, and just have the right people helping me, to get where I need to get. I help a lot of people in my time. I think now is the time I need some help from some people to get my stuff out and see what that does.
You deserve it.
Thank you, my man. Appreciate it.
Where can fans and followers keep up with everything going on with you, and including all the music you're working on?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I think it's, we're never gonna give in. We're never gonna give in. It's what we love to do. We don't do this for anything. I mean, if you can prove if I was, a fake doing for the money, I would be long gone doing this. We do this because we love, and it's not for the money.
Right.
So if the money comes into play at some point, great. But most importantly is you do this because it's in your heart. Like, I feel like I'm meant to be doing this. I don't know if it's somewhere or whatever, but it's just what I like to do. I enjoy doing it, and I enjoy seeing people when they enjoying it, like music and things that we do. So that's what I wanted to be known, to be, doing it.
Where can the fans and followers keep up with all of the music that you're putting out and everything going on with you? Where can you direct them? Where can all the followers keep up with everything that's going on with you? All the projects and everything cello.
Yeah, we are talking about putting some things out there, some outlets, because at the moment I was not ready to do that. I'm getting ready as we speak. So you're like pretty much my first, big interview that I wanted to do and kind of start talking about putting things out there. But
well, thank you.
Look forward to my personal site for the time being, but we're going to set up, the name of the brand I'm going to be putting out there for my stuff. And obviously, against our will, and just, anything that we're going to be doing between me and Jimmy and, some other people as well. So just look forward, because it's going to be good shit. It's going to be good music.
Look at that. That was a MattyRocks cello exclusive interview.
Pretty much.
Right on.
You always got it, man. You always got it.
Cello, I'm going to give you the same opportunity that I give every artist that I have the opportunity to sit one-on-one with, to talk with. And that is a message to MattyRocks listeners who are going to hear and see this interview. What would you like to say to them?
Well, thanks for listening. Stay in tune, because there's a lot of shit coming up, a lot of good shit coming up. I love, to hear your stuff, because you're talking with the real musicians, you're talking the truth. And I think that should be, spread more and more. We need to talk the truth. I'm sick of the fake media bullshit. I'm tired of it. I want to hear really good stuff. So stay tuned, and you guys are going to be hearing some good shit from you and from us.
Right on. Cello, is there anything I've missed? Anything you would like to add?
No, man. You're good. You're good in your work. I appreciate what you do, and I think we cover pretty much everything that I like to cover for now, for the time being. I can't wait to start putting some, material out, which will be coming out soon. So I guess we might be doing, a number 2 sometime soon.
Absolutely.
And then we'll be covering the new material. So look forward to the summer.
Right on. Cello, thank you again for taking the time and the opportunity to talk with me tonight on this Friday night. I wish you nothing but continued success in every musical arena that you're working in. And thank you again.
I appreciate it, man. Same to you, and same to everybody out there. Stay safe, and we stay in touch.
Right on. You heard it here, listeners, on the MattyRocks Instagram live sessions. MattyRocks and Cello Dias wrapping it up. MattyRocks out. Thanks again, Cello.
Peace.